Hello, everybody. I hope you're all staying safe and staying well. And we're all very excited at the Trilon to see you. We are getting the theater ready to have people back in it and trying to get everything together so we can be as safe as possible and get to watch movies together again. I am beyond ecstatic. Today, I am joined by my good friend David Marriott. David is part of Arbelos Films. They've put out some of the really best stuff in the last couple of years. We've shown as much of it as we possibly can. Most recently, they put out Bellatar's Satin Tango. Before that, you may have seen the last movie with Dennis Hopper at the Trilon, or Belladonna of Sadness, or Funeral Parade of Roses. Arbelos is putting out some of the very coolest stuff. We have a film of theirs we had scheduled in April. When we got shut down, it got delayed. But it will be showing in September, and that film is called The White Mare. It's exceptional, and when I saw it, I was absolutely thrilled with it, and I can't wait to watch it at the theater, hopefully with a whole bunch of you. So anyway, without further ado, here's David.
Hey, Trilon Cinema. Thanks to John for this introduction and for asking me to do this. While we're all staying safe and waiting for theaters to reopen, I wanted to highlight one of the great unsung American independent films of the 1970s, in my opinion, Christopher St. John's Top of the Heap from 1972. The film is now streaming on Tubi, Amazon Prime, Shut Factory TV, and there's a DVD and a Blu-ray available through Code Red for those of us who are physical media fans. Christopher St. John is probably best known for his supporting role as Ben Buford in Shaft. After that film's success, St. John started shopping a screenplay he'd written and intended to star in, direct, and produce. He ultimately met up with exploitation label The Fanfare Corporation, and through a combination of their financing and his residuals from Shaft, Top of the Heap went into low-budget production. Now, given that backstory, you might be expecting Top of the Heap to be a fairly traditional entry in the blaxploitation film canon. The Fanfare Corporation certainly was. But the film St. John turned in ultimately was much more ambitious and much stranger than that. St. John plays Washington, D.C. beat cop George Latimer, a man trapped between the glass ceiling frustrations of being marginalized and passed over by his peers and superiors in the police force because he's black, and at the same time alienated from his friends and family for being a cop and working in the establishment. St. John is captivating in his lead performance and turns in beautifully nuanced scenes, as does much of the supporting cast. But what really puts this film in another league are the half dozen or so extensive fever dream sequences interspersed throughout, art house-inspired nightmares and reveries that include among them Latimer in full NASA gear as the first black man on the moon, and later as a surrogate for JFK during the infamous Dallas motorcade assassination. The fantasy sequences telegraph Latimer's impending meltdown and mix ingeniously with the rest of the film's narrative, leaving us with a singular and potent cocktail, a sort of primal scream from within a broken establishment. So you might be wondering why this gem isn't better known. After all, it was entered into the 22nd Berlin International Film Festival and competed for the top prize. After that, it was even invited to screen at Cannes. Well, the Fanfare Corporation was expecting an exploitation film, and St. John delivered an art house hybrid that left the distribution label baffled. They refused the Cannes invite and cut the dream sequences entirely from the film, devastating St. John. Shortly thereafter, in a claim St. John denies, two writers came forward claiming they'd worked on the screenplay without receiving credit, and the WGA ordered the film pulled from theaters. Christopher St. John was blacklisted in the industry and never directed again. It's a tragic and abrupt ending for such a promising talent, but we're lucky to have the unabridged film available today, and I hope you all will seek it out. I think it's ripe for rediscovery and, of course, very timely in our current cultural moment. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and please keep supporting the mighty Trilon Cinema. We all think it's one of the best art houses in the country. Bye.